Hello friends, welcome back. I am Rajneesh and this session is about configuring HTTPS on Apache. So let's recall the last session. We created a key for Apache or for the client. Using the key we generated certificate signing request, sent it to certification authority that signed it and sent back the certificate, which is www.rcval.in.crt. Now, in this session, we shall understand how to get them implemented in Apache so that it uses these certificates rather than the local signed certificates. Let's try to open the site rcval.in. So, presently, this is using plain text. If we try to open it using HTTPS, yes, it has been configured for HTTPS, but it displaying me that the connection is untrusted. Let me see the details. Error untrusted issuer means the person or the organization that issued it is not trusted. So let me try to understand the risk and add it as an exception. If I view it, it says common name is Ubuntu and there is nothing in organization or issued by Ubuntu. So if you see the complete details, this is actually the self-signed certificate. So this is what I wanted to show you. We just cancel it and now we will be configuring it so that it uses these certificates which are signed by certification authority or CA. Right now my OS is mm, it's Ubuntu 12.4. So there will be slightly difference if we talk about Ubuntu or if we talk about RHEL. I'll show you the difference. If we talk about RHEL6, the service name will be HTTPD, which is not yet installed. And if we talk about the configuration, it will all be present in /etc HTTPD. So right now this RHEL6 machine is not configured, so I will get it implemented in Ubuntu machine. So first of all, I move to the folder /etc Apache 2 and create any folder. TMP SSL, and I just copy these three things in TLS folder. chown -r Apache dot the group of the Apache and TLS. Sorry, if we talk about Ubuntu, it has the user www dash data. chown -r data TLS, and let's restrict access to anyone else. Now TLS folder can be accessed only by Apache. So moving on to TLS folder, first thing is CSR is no more required. After we get the certificate from the certification authority, CSR is not required anymore. Now we have two things, client.key and the certificate. Fine. One thing that we see, and I told you, was the client.key is presently encrypted. Here it shows you encrypted with DES3. This is your private key. So first thing, in case you want Apache to use it, Apache should be able to use this key when restarting Apache. So there should be one thing, either it should know where the password is saved or it should be decrypted. So let's just decrypt it. To decrypt it, the command will be OpenSSL RSA -in -out client.key dot, let's say client without password dot key. Password, as I remind of, was client. Yes. Now if you see, the key is the same, but the difference is it's no more encrypted. Here you see begin RSA key and it's not encrypted. Now we'll be configuring Apache /etc Apache 2 sites underscore enabled. For this I would like to tell you something. In Ubuntu, uh, there are two folders: site available and site enabled. Site available has all the actual files. Site enabled has the link to the files which are enabled. So in case you see the default SSL is not present inside site enabled, it means SSL support is not there for Apache. There are two options like A2 N mode or A2 N site that can be used to enable or disable it. For example, I'll show you how it works. A2 this site default SSL. And now if you reload Apache, you'll see that it won't respond on HTTPS. If I try to open this, it's taking too long. So effectively now HTTPS secure connection failed. SSL received a record that exceeded maximum permissible length. Okay, received record too long. Okay, elinks minus dump https localhost, and now you see SSL error. And if I have to just enable SSL, I can do A2 nsite default SSL and Apache 2 restart or reload. And now if I try to elinks dump or try to open a website, it will successfully load, and here it prompts you for the certificate. Okay, now coming back to the configuration of SSL /etc Apache 2 okay sites available default SSL. And to know the location of the certificates, okay, I'll open a new session. You will find two most important variables, which is SSL certificate file, SSL certificate key file. I just make a copy of both This was the localhost that it was using, and /etc Apache 2 TLS. I didn't have permissions. /etc Apache 2 TLS, and here I can see this. Let me copy the folder. Okay. Okay. Now SSL certificate file is this one. Oh, sorry. This is certificate file, and key file is without password. Key file is this one. So these are the two most important things that it'll be using to load the certificate: key and the certificate. Client without password. So I think I showed you how to decrypt that password or decrypt that encrypted key file. Now /etc init.d httpd or Apache to reload. And now if I try to open this website, I understand the risk, but the difference will be right now the certificate is issued by our certification authority, ca.rcval.com, and if you look carefully into the message, it says unknown issuer because till now my browser doesn't rely on ca.rcval.in. If we are talking about a particular organization, we can use it, we can rely on it. So etc pki ca, and here this is the ca.crt that we used, and this ca.crt can be used throughout the organization and it should be trusted. So ca.crt, I create a temporary file, or I just get it, scp it, or through some other method I just copy it, and now I say my browser, please trust this certification authority. Edit, preferences, view certificates, authorities, import, coming on to tmp and ca.crt. Now it'll opt you. Trust this CA to identify websites, yes. To identify mail users if you want. To identify software developers. If you see the details, the common name is ca.rcval.com, and these are the other details issued by the same. It could be issued by VeriSign or any certification authority, but in our scenario it was self-signed. For an organization it could be a single self-signed certificate. We close it, click on OK, click on OK, click on OK, and if I refresh this website now, it didn't prompt me because now we rely on this certification authority, and it says verified by Sival Company Limited, and my browser relies on ca.rcval or Cval Company Limited's certificate. So it won't prompt you anymore. Let me recall the things. As we are using Ubuntu, first thing is to enable the default SSL module, which we did through A2N mode, sorry, A2N site. And second thing is we went to the configuration file etc apache to sites available default.ssl. Here we have to modify two parameters, SSL certificate file and SSL key file. One more thing that was to be noted was the key was decrypted. So Apache was able to use that key and the certificate was loaded. And now your Apache is after that I just restarted or reloaded the Apache and it started using the new certificate. This is the command that I use to decrypt client.key. OpenSSL RSA to interact with the RSA keys. It took client.key as input and output was presented as client wp.key, which was without password. It asked me for the password. I provided it and finally I got the client wp key. So thanks for listening. uh, okay, one more thing I would like to tell you is like mm, how to sniff the data. Okay, TCP dump. Okay, now this is my simple command that captures a traffic which is for TCP port 80, and now I'm capturing it. Let's try to open the HTTP. Sorry. Let's elinks dump. I tried to open it several times using HTTP protocol. Fine. I just stopped it with Control C. Now I'll be sniffing the traffic for port 443. That is HTTPS. Now I do the same thing several times and let us see what's the difference and how a user can sniff how the data is going on. Just press Ctrl C. Now we have two files. Become a regular user, run Wireshark, and just try to open a file. What was the location of file? It's TMP. Last modified. This is for port 80. So in this, if you try to trace or follow some stream, you will see HTTP 200 OK, server details, when was it last modified, and here is your sample web page or your data. So it's all visible in plain text method. This is port 80. So your traffic is nowhere encrypted. Now, oh, I closed it. I run it once again, and this time my file is going to be the encrypted file or encrypted traffic. Now here if you just see HTTPS traffic follow TCP stream, you will see that this is what was going on. Can you understand what it means? Simply not. Here, you cannot understand anything like what's going on. So your traffic is completely encrypted. No one in between knows what is the traffic which is going on between them. The same happens for SSH. The traffic is all encrypted, and man in the middle or any sniffer doesn't know what's the communication that is going on between the client and the server. So in this video we understood how to see whether the traffic is flowing in encrypted or unencrypted form, and what's the difference between the traffic in HTTP and HTTPS, and how to configure Apache to use HTTPS. Okay, a small difference, as right now I don't have a machine, maybe I'll have to create a different video, but for generic terms, if you are talking about RHEL 6.3 or RHEL version, you'll have to install mod underscore SSL, and second thing you will have to do is /etc httpd conf.d ssl.conf.